Find more questions and study at your own pace on our website. The link will be in the description. Let's get started. Question 1. You have an Azure subscription that contains an anomaly detector resource. You deploy a Docker host server named Server 1 to the on-premises network. You need to host an instance of the anomaly detector service on Server 1. Which parameter should you include in the Docker run command? Option A, fluentd. Option B, billing. Option C, HTTP proxy. Option D, mounts. To host an instance of the anomaly detector service on Server 1 using Docker, you need to include the billing parameter in the Docker run command. This parameter specifies the endpoint of the cognitive services resource used to track billing information, which is necessary for the container to run. Azure Cognitive Services containers must always communicate billing information with the billing endpoint to ensure proper metering and billing. Question 2. You have an Azure subscription that contains a language service resource named TA1 and a virtual network named VNet1. You need to ensure that only resources in VNet1 can access TA1. What should you configure? Option A, a network security group for VNet1. Option B, Azure Firewall for VNet1. Option C, the virtual network settings for the one. Option D, a language service container for TA1. To ensure that only resources in a specific virtual network can access an Azure language service resource, you need to configure the virtual network settings for the language service resource. This involves setting up virtual network rules that allow access only from designated subnets within VNet1, effectively restricting access to resources within that virtual network. Question 3. You have an Azure subscription that contains an AI enrichment pipeline, an Azure Cognitive Search, and an Azure storage account that has 10 gigabytes of scanned documents and images. You need to index the documents and images in the storage account. The solution must minimize how long it takes to build the index. What should you do? Option A, from the Azure portal, configure parallel indexing. Option B, from the Azure portal, configure scheduled indexing. Option C, configure field mappings by using the REST API. Option D, create a text-based indexer by using the REST API. To minimize the time it takes to build the index for documents and images in an Azure storage account, the most effective approach is to configure parallel indexing. Parallel indexing allows multiple indexers to run simultaneously, processing different parts of the data at the same time, which helps in speeding up the indexing process compared to running indexers sequentially. Question 4. You are building a flight booking bot by using the Microsoft Bot Framework SDK. The bot will ask users for the departure date. The bot must repeat the question until a valid date is given, or the users cancel the transaction. Which type of dialogue should you use? Option A, prompt. Option B, adaptive. Option C, waterfall. Option D, action. The appropriate type of dialogue for asking the user for input and repeating the question until valid input is provided, or the user cancels the transaction is a prompt dialogue. Prompt dialogues are designed to request specific types of input from the user, such as dates, and they will continue to prompt the user until the input meets the validation criteria or the dialogue is explicitly canceled. Question 5. You are building a chatbot for a travel agent. The bot will ask users for a destination and must repeat the question until a valid input is received or the user closes the conversation. Which type of dialogue should you use? Option A, prompt. Option B, input. Option C, adaptive. Option D, Q&A maker. For a chatbot that needs to ask users for a destination and repeat the question until a valid input is received or the user closes the conversation, a prompt dialogue is most suitable. Prompt dialogues are specifically designed to ask the user for input and can be configured to validate this input and re-prompt the user if necessary. This ensures that the bot keeps asking the user for a valid destination until one is provided or the user exits the conversation. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to check out our website where you can find more questions for this exam. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and good luck on your exams.